different? No.
Yeah. Remember the committee?
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll ask the Minister of Internal Affairs to introduce members of his team. His team with the LDA. And from there, we'll take a 5-minute presentation each. Heads of the two institutions.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, let me quickly announce that the bill will pass will obtain concurrence from the House of Representatives have been approved by the President, subsequently published in the bill. So we are now transitioning from internal affairs to the Ministry of Agriculture.
Coming for confirmation here.
So, for the purpose of properly and adequately answering your call and heading a team of the senior officials of the ministry, last time the Deputy Minister of Research and Development Planning, Edward A. Malva, Assistant Minister for Administration, Mr. Edward A. Apple, I will need the Controller of the Ministry, and the Deputy Controller, and other technicians. These are members of the team.
LDA.
Honorable Chairman, distinguished members of the committee, and Deputy Commissioner of Police in Cherokee and Diabo, officer in charge of LDA, and here we follow Henry Staple, Deputy Officer in charge of administration and investigation, and also here we Special Agent Christopher, who is a controller, and then our financial account.
Thank you. So, with that said, I'm Senator Moy, Chairman of the committee, going out order.
Good afternoon, I'm Senator Bodo Panel, representing Bapolo County on this committee.
I'm Senator Simon Bakanjo, Big Mount, member of this committee. Celebrating talking from Simon County for our share on this committee. President,
all of that is done. Yeah, I think the finish line. Time for the summary. The final presentation. I think summary report will be one. Oh yeah, that's all right. Keep refusing. You're following this agenda.
Minister, they will give you 5 minutes in the meeting. You will have your presentation.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding members of the committee. I want to begin by saying thanks to you, the legislature, for the appropriation last year, or for this year, subsequently approved by the President. We did what we could, but there's more to be done. And because there's more to be done, it is expected that the honorable legislature for the same reason to increase our appropriation.
Excuse me.
Okay, so I will do the intro and the controller will do the presentation. Right, honorable members of the committee, the chairman, will be looking at some 7 critical areas. Under recurrence, there is a need for us to consider some reasonable increment in the salary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. As you may know, you know how many chiefs up to you, in our payroll, our commissioners are underpaid, there are still apprentices of the President who are yet to be paid for payroll. So we have a proposal for your consideration. We have found out, and even Liberia has found out, that because our local government structures and a lot of the countries do not have their own budget, they are tempted to use as minimum as may be portion of the country development fund. To avoid that, our proposal this year is that every superintendent office or county administration should have their official budget. We have proposed that in there. There's a list of other expenditure that you will be listening to. But at the same time, let me now take the liberty to pass the mic up to the controller of the Minister of Interior.
Yes. Mr. Co-Chair of the committee, we are pleased to present to you the strategic menu of the Ministry of Internal Affairs that focuses on oversight of local government decentralization, operation of county development, silver platform integration, community engagement. So we have strategic funding, which is the full mandate, the presidential directive, reform initiative, for the philosopher. And we have on the third page, that's government. So that's the presentation I got here.
Which slide are you on?
Well, that's the finance report.
Okay. That's page 4.
Yeah.
Sheet 4.
So, yeah. So we have the original appropriation was 31,351,159. We have the adjusted appropriation is 31,656,109. Allotment 31,656,109. Actual expenditure 38,886,362.16. Total available balance in allotment is 3,566,836.84 cents. So execution rate is 8.7%. So we have the graph there based on what I just explained. Just explain, and then we have the percentage as indicated, 88.7% for the expenditure, actual expenditure. So we have the variance analysis compensation has been executed up to date, 99.1%. Goods and services were not executed due to delay in allotment. We have county development fund largely executed. The Western Coastal Transfer on touch for only 8 months. We have non-financial assets, PSIP, executed for district development projects, and 650,000 transfer for county counterpart funding for the DSP. The variant drivers and strategic implementation for fiscal year 2026. Compensation stability, CDA, CDF, transfer, concession lane, fund, capacity, fire stand executed, in negative, Western cluster allocation on touch. Operational gap, fuel, logistics, some office material were undone executed. So we have absorption or strategy and 88, or strength 88.7, but uneven across counties. Reform priority performance counties with 500K balances need the ERP and the Bell dashboard treasury activation. And our budget narrative emphasized that unspent balances are concentrated on concession transfer, not core operations. So we have the adjusted appropriation, the actual expenditure, execution rate, and the balances, allotment. Overlap summary. So our execution at 7% born labor margin ready for ERP and Bell dashboard pilots. Strong fiscal discipline. Moderate execution counties 63 to 91%. Mosorado, Maryland, Grand Bassa, Grand Judah require targeted support for logistical monitoring and allotment targets. So lower execution, Guam, Kigwan, and Babu, reform priority recommended resolve Western cluster transfer bottleneck, deploy ERP system for transparency, creating county service center with mobility and styling. The ARD PILO integration, agriculture law, district infrastructure mapping, sanitation products, rule of law, peace building, council dues, concession conflict resolution, education, health dashboard, civil engagement platform, sanitation and tracing, hygiene campaign, zoning framework, and education pilots. 2026, pragmatic solution, strategic alignment with our AARD PILOs. To have agriculture law, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tracing, along to specific zoning, county level planning, and zoning for agri district infrastructure mapping, sanitation pilots. Further down, the recurrent budget summary. So in 2025, we have $12,116,025 that were given as appropriation for compensation. And then we have goods and services, we have 436,900. Social benefit, we have 400,000. Non-financial assets, €0. Rent, 10,848,274, which gives us the total for recurrent budget $23,801. I mean, 801. Yeah, 199. You see where we have 2026 seeding based on 2025 budget. On the budget preparation, we got those seedings from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning to be able to prepare our budget. So you see it's slightly different from the 2025 budget. And then what was proposed by the Ministry of Internal Affairs, that the Minister stated that we have some parameters, some qualities from His Excellency, was still outstanding. So we were looking at close to 16,935,322. So the difference from what was given as a base is 4,890,297. So we have goods and services. We have 436,900. So actually, it caused delay and ineffectiveness for the counties because they had nothing to operate with. So based upon that, we were requesting for additional 3,035,766. So if you do the arithmetic, take into consideration the counties, 50 counties, at least a county for operational purpose will be able to have 151,617. So that will make them to have fun to have mobility and have other support for the counties. And then 25% for the central administration to also be able to have supervision and monitoring of those counties. So we come to non-financial assets. Non-financial assets, with the exceptions of the ministers and deputy ministers, all of the assistant ministers at the military do not have mobility, including staff. So we did not have any funding for that. So we were recommending to the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning 1,062,213. Out of that, they were able to make available to all 241,556. Make it very difficult for us to be able to get assistant minister cards and few other directors. So look at GRAIN. GRAIN basically is a specialized program at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, specifically the National Council of Chief Support Office, the National Concession, the Peace Building, the Office of the Peace Ambassador, and other counties. So initially we got 10,848,271. In the proposed, they gave the same amount, but then in the proposed Ministry of Finance, we cut it down, so we gave out 8,448,000. We were proposing 11 because the county support needed to be done to be able to give RCT material and other things for the county level treasury application. So if you look at that budget, we are actually asking for 9,372,270. So of that amount, there was a drastic draft with a clear section of compensation that we got 500,000 to that amount. So come up. Yeah. So budget justification and disaster swelling is mandatory by law and presidential appointees, undertaking, funding risky constitutional non-compliance. Goods and services previous budget lack operational detail. This proposal corrects that with itemized needs. Asset first time provisional for mobility vehicle for appointees, staff, buses for central office, commuting, RCT, computer servers, printers, photocopier, and workspace. Furniture to operationalize MRD are critical to support the permanent staff. When parties cannot function without adequate cost structures, increase reflect real operational needs. Priority areas. So basically, priority areas is because we talk about variable chiefs, we talk about clan chiefs, we talk about other counties, officials that are now on payroll. If we give priority to compensation, we'll be able to allow the Ministry of Internal Affairs to deploy those variable chiefs that are not currently on payroll, and clan chiefs of the North countries are not currently on payroll. So assets first time provision for vehicle for presidential appointee assistant minister, RCT case, furniture to operationalize central, decentralized office and support mobility, monitoring and workplace space. Green, support operation under governance, service delivery, and civil engagement platform in statutory cities. Transfer to specialized units of decentralization governance, and like what I said, goods and services cover few RCT logistics operational costs for central level functioning correct historical honor funding if full rollout supervision monitoring. This is the PSRP. Basically, this is the project. We have the LDSP 2, we have 650,000 for counterpart funding. With UNDP, we have committed development general project 4 million. We have district development project 5.9 million. Then those other programs there, they are new programs, the local government strengthening program in the Ministry of Local Government Implementation. The minister said earlier that the bill that came to the Senate have been passed, but the president is now being implemented. So because of that, the ministry will be transitioning into a new Ministry of Local Government.
Yeah, I the one came and told them they should go and give Quran. You decided you can go. You go get Quran. Someone take Quran like that. My interest is here.
Come back quick.
Nobody got Quran yet.
We don't have a Quran, so we can continue. So let us go beyond the Quran and then beyond the camp. Go ahead.
So this
PSRP.
Yeah, PSRP.
You are saying that these are money that are contributed to the ministry by these partners.
No, the first one is 650,000. It's a counterpart funding, meaning this particular money is not with Ministry of Internal Affairs. We give this money out to UNDP and we identify projects together to be able to implement, especially for training. Yeah. So we talk about the local government strengthening program. Like I said earlier, this was intended to have enterprise risk management system to be able to monitor the county. And then also with the NEL, the monitoring evaluation learning process 2 So we also talked about transitioning from Ministry of Internal Affairs to Ministry of Local Government Implementation, since the file the bill has been passed already. So if they meet the approval of the Senate, we are asking for 4,510,000 in addition to what was previously here, because this has been right after the budget preparation has already elapsed. So we just got that way. So the Ministry of Local Governance Implementation to have one items under that is good governance and capacity building. We talk about dialogue training, international policy dialogue training, county service center staff developing framework for the training institute, secretarial support, assessing training needs, training staff, and providing equipment for the national decentralization implementation strategy. Compliance, provide legal training to county council members, engage MSDP or establishing county treasuries, integrate digitalized system set up, identify, procure, and install integrated digital system at all CS county service centers, recruit and train IT staff, develop training manual for database management, social cohesion and livelihood, conflict resolution, monitoring, and assessment. So, based on what we got for last year, so the CDA and the CDF for breakdown for counties, so you have 516,666.67 for each of the counties listed below. So achievements.
The combination of both the CDF and the CDA.
Yeah. So we have achievement, county service centers expanded. We have integrated coordination strengthening by 15 coordination meetings held between MRA, UNDP, and county authorities. Fiscal year 2025 implementation rate increased by 60% compared to 2025. County mobility and monitoring enhanced. Hence, 15 vehicles procured and distributed across the 15 counties. 100% counties are now equipped for outreach and field monitoring. Sanitation infrastructure and pilot launch. 180 latrines constructed in 15 per district. 12 waste management system installed. 24 hygiene education campaign conducted. Zoning regulation developed. 12 county level zoning framework drafted. 36 local council section held on validation, and then 100 plus stakeholders engaged in zoning consultation. Last, the National General Assembly of Chiefs and Tribal Governors. For the first time this month, we also assembled more than 282 paramount chiefs, 189 clan chiefs, and 16 tribal governors to discuss issues that are affecting their well-being with His Excellency Joseph Roman Walker. The institutional challenges and reform proposal, delay allotment, lack of automated financial system, we talk about limited monitoring and MAE capacity, legal dependency on concession link transfer, lack of logistical support for the smooth operation of the Ministry of Mobility, specifically presidential appointees, and then the general staff for the staff. We talk about reform proposal, deploy ERP system, mail dashboard in all counties, activate county service center and territory for fiscal decentralization, integrate citizen feedback, portrait into service delivery, expand staff and mobility for decentralization office. So, rates of honor funding, government priorities, county remain honor resource, rates public dissatisfaction, erosion of trust and decentralization, reform stagnation, the LGA implementation story, undermine national decentralization goal, delay constitutional mandate, and undermine national cohesion. Operational bottleneck, appointees and staff lack tools, vehicles, basic logistics, preparing service delivery. Donor confidence, weak domestic commitment, signals, reform fatigue, racing withdrawal or reduction of external support. Infrastructure decade, the county service center, sanitation pilot, district access remain incomplete or poorly maintained and revised process. Call to action, MSDB endorsement request for approval of the full 2026 proposed draft budget to enable staff, logistics, and infrastructure required for decentralization rollout. Strategic co-signing of the PSRP project to jointly advance service delivery, fiscal reform, and civil engagement across all counties and districts. Recognition of decentralization as a national reform priority to invest decentralization, MSDP, fiscal planning, policy framework, and donor coordination. Integration of clear dashboard into national PFM system to ensure auditability, performance tracking, and citizen feedback across all sub-national entities. Activation of county treasuries and ERP system to strengthen financial integrity, local revenue mobilization, and transparent vendor payments. To run oversight of intergovernmental transfer and budget transparency, publish county budgets, monitor execution along with AARD and IFMIS.